Okay, I'll get that.
We're just so lucky in Byron to have Underground the movie about Julian Assange as a young man that's come to Byron. But better than that, we've got Robert Connolly, who wrote and directed it. We've got the young actor who's just disappeared behind me, Alex, who plays the lead role, and we've got Christine Assange and a couple of other people coming to speak after the movies.
So I'm Robert Connolly, I'm the director of Underground, and I'm here screening Underground on a national tour, kind of a political tour. We're calling it Cinema Plus. It's a new initiative to kind of have these events where we screen films, we have interesting guests, we really engage with the audience and show them our work. It's been a lot of fun.
That's right. Julian, you've got more talent in your little finger, but your life is crushing you. You've got to stand up and decide what it is you want.
Trying to work out how to tell the Julian Assange story is tricky. I looked at the contemporary story, I looked at the historic, but I found myself intrigued with him as a young man. This era, a couple of years before the internet, when he was already, doing incredible things, relative to his age and where technology was at. But I think my main interest was in finding a way to tell the story of the politicization of a young person, and watching a young person realize that they can change the world. I think it's a very 21st century idea. Can you, in an era where traditional political parties have kind of lost their kind of currency, I think, for young people, how can you kind of stimulate activism in people?
What do I need to do?
Could we get you to reboot it? Are you okay to turn it off and on again?
Okay.
Okay, so it should be asking you to log in.
Okay, yeah.
Isn't it?
This is Matthew Stewart.
Password? We should probably reset it at this end for security purposes.
Yeah, no problem. I'll try it. Bluey.
Okay, does it work?
Yep, I'm in.
Great. Okay, could you log off for the next hour or so? We've got to reset things down at this end and make sure it's all working fine for you.
Yeah, will do.
My name's Alex Williams and I'm on tour with Robert Connolly in Cinema Plus promoting Underground. I graduated from WAPA, which is in WA, Performing Arts School there. I graduated in 2011 and then as soon as I came out, they sort of, Robert's wife Jane kind of had me already thinking about me for this, and then it's great. I mean, not only do you kind of expect to be playing, relatively two-dimensional characters, occasionally playing a bit of small roles here, small roles there, and then building up to something and getting given something with a lot of meat kind of on the bone straight away was, a real gift, and it's been great, and it's just a fascinating story, and one that needs to be told.
Okay, now.
We're leaving. Come on, pack your bags.
What?
No, seriously, we're gonna go. They're on with me. They're on with me.
Mum. Julian.
And he said that he could see stuff he couldn't quite understand back then, and it would take all of the time till recent years for him to actually work out how to understand it.
The idea of the WikiLeaks party as a political movement is a natural extension of what WikiLeaks and Julian Assange have tried to achieve. So when you speak truth to power, and that power refuses to cede or to prosecute the criminal behaviour within its own ranks, then it's only natural that the movement of the people would extend into the political, and you must then be prepared to claim power to exercise that truth and transparency. So in some ways it's actually a political party that's driven by the impetus of the people rather than Julian.
We speak for the 99%. We're saying that we want Julian Assange as our representative in the federal parliament. We want to support the WikiLeaks party, and we would like to see Julian Assange and Bradley Manning giving the Nobel Peace Prize. We would also like to see the banksters jailed, the troops all brought home, and peace in our time.
We have a plan to get him out, but it's a secret. I can't tell you.
Yeah, we can. It is...
No!
Bust him out with a film crew.
Oh,
and
no!
He'll switch
But you can't...
identity.
You can't broadcast that.
One of the actors.
That's a secret.
You know, Wayne used to keep the plans for the farm he was building under lock and key. Julian, the more people lock things up, the more they have to hide.
Christine Assange's character in the film, played by Rachel Griffiths, and I met Christine at the first of these screenings. I'd never met her before. And it was an invitation to her. Did she want to come along and talk about the film with me as the director in front of an audience? What would that be like, you know? And I think, you know, obviously as a mother, it's of great anxiety to her current situation for her son. But, you know, I think if you look at Julian the man, you know, you really have to go, why is he the way he is? You've really got to look to the mother, you know. And here she is tonight at the screening talking about being Julian Assange's mother. I think it's an incredible opportunity for an audience.
My imagery in my mind was of this bright little face with his eyes that are going like this, going, why? You know, so we'd have long discussions about why, and most of the time I would say to him, well, what do you think?
Mrs. Assange, you are making a big mistake. They will find him.
I am not going to betray my son today, Sergeant, not to you or them.
Because it's not a documentary, it does have a lot of hypotheses. It's me as a filmmaker and the team I've assembled trying to interpret the intrinsic kind of truth of what happened. It stirs up a lot of discussion, you know, the issue about WikiLeaks and, you know, what Julian's doing, you know.
It's become almost a common phrase for people to say he's holed up in the Ecuador embassy. He's actually received political asylum and is exercising his international human rights. There is a real threat to him posed by the United States, and Sweden refuses to guarantee they won't onward extradite him if he was to travel to Sweden for questioning. He's not been charged with any crime in any country. So he can run for Senate because he's an Australian citizen, he's enrolled to vote in Victoria.
Julian.
Hey, this is important.
If he wins the seat, then there are two possibilities, basically. By the time he needs to take the seat in mid-2014, he may have resolved his issues and been able to travel back to Australia. And hopefully, if an elected senator is in an embassy, the Australian government would exercise all diplomatic and political pressure to ensure he's able to return home to support the Australian people. If he's unable to take the seat, the rules are, under parliamentary ruling, that the WikiLeaks party will appoint another person that represents the party to take the seat.
No, I mean, I'm a huge supporter of WikiLeaks. I think it's fantastic, you know, but you engage with an audience where people may have different views, you know, and that's been quite exciting. You know, I think it's one of those things where the cinema itself doesn't have to be a passive place where you just go and watch a film. It can be a place where you engage and meet people, and you know, it's been a great, you know, forum for discussion.
So it was just a perfect marriage of the artistic and the desire to actually reach out to communities across Australia and explain exactly who was Julian, where has he gone to, and what is going on, because there's so much misinformation out there.